I sat down planning to work on the crafting system. After all, I've got all these machines in the game, but no way to actually build them yet. The idea was simple: mine some deposits, collect a few resources, bring them back and craft something useful. But then it hit me: you can't really mine much at the start. Power runs out just after mining a few deposits. Your inventory only holds 6 items, and I placed silica deposits far away from the starting zone, which you can't even reach without running out of juice. Now sure, all of these could be fixed easily by balancing the game properly, but you see, I'm not a balancer, I'm a developer, so of course I'm not going to fix all of this by adjusting some numbers. Instead, I'm going to fix it by building overly complicated rovers that can carry modules on top of them. Because who needs crafting in a survival crafting game when you can have autonomous rovers instead, right? Hi, I'm making a survival crafting game where you play as the only sentient being in the whole galaxy, a robot named Blossom. Your goal is to terraform Mars and bring life back to it. Now the decision is made, let me explain how the rovers will work first. Each rover has 2 power sockets, one on the front and one on the back. As long as one of the sockets is powered, the rover will function. But if you connect Blossom or any other rover or vehicle to the front socket, it will automatically start following it. This means you can chain multiple rovers together to build full-on rover trains. Of course, running these rovers consumes power. So what's the point? That's where the modules come in. Every rover has a socket on top for a module. You can attach all kinds of useful modules. Today, I'm building 4. A storage module, a battery, a solar generator and a wind generator. These modules expand your power and storage capacity and even generate power while you explore. That means less need to return to base and even opens up the possibility of fully mobile bases. First things first, I needed a rover model. I iterated on a couple of versions to finally create this one, then added a module socket on top. Once I brought it in the game, this is how it looked with the power sockets. Obviously these don't do anything yet. Then came the biggest hurdle I've faced in this game so far. I wanted the rovers to follow whatever they are connected to. So I did the obvious thing, added wheel colliders to all 4 wheels, gave the body a collider and wrote some logic to make it drive toward the player. Oh, how wrong I was. Every time I tested it, the rover would get stuck on rocks, machines, even the terrain itself. It wouldn't climb slopes, acted weird inside craters, it just wouldn't work. I did some research and found that most car following AIs use 3 physics beams in front to detect obstacles. I tried that too. Still didn't work. Deposits and resources were too small to detect, and if the player moved fast enough, the rover would crash into something and get stuck, and at that point you had no way to recover it. I almost scrapped the whole idea, until a ridiculously simple solution hit me. I realized I was solving the wrong problem. I was so focused on the rover, I missed the obvious. The game already has a really smart pet finding system. Can you guess what it is? The answer is the player. Player already knows how to avoid obstacles, and the physics engine makes sure that you don't go through anything. So, I built a system that drops breadcrumbs behind the player as they move. The rover just follows those breadcrumbs using a basic character controller. No wheels, no physics simulation, it just works, because the game already solves it for the player. Now of course, you can still get the rover stuck, intentionally or not, so I disabled the physics on them entirely, and it works surprisingly well. Well, until you climb a mountain, but I will get back to that. Let's try this with a few more rovers. And a few more. And a few more. Yeah, I think it's safe to say it works. By the way, the game is called Blossom, the Seed of Life, and if you're excited about it or want to support development, the best way to help is by adding it to your wishlist. It really makes a big difference, and you will also get notified about future playtests and demos. Link is in the description. Time to create some modules. They look pretty similar to their world counterparts, just smaller. Since their functionality is the same, adding them in was super easy. For now, I'm manually placing them on top of rovers, but once crafting is in, you will be able to print them directly onto any empty rover. They are connected to the rovers through an invisible cable, So they are part of the same circuit, which means if you connect to a rover with a module on top, you're also joining the same circuit. Now on to the storage module. Since the inventory system is fully physical, there are now physical nodes that you can put your items onto. When you are near something collectible, the game shows a collect action. If your backpack is full, you get a replace action instead and choose which item to swap out. I want to use the same system here, so now whenever you come close to a storage socket, your items get highlighted. You can select an item and store it in the storage, and also collect it back with the same action. But since the player's inventory is pretty limited, it quickly becomes annoying to manually pick up items and place them into the rover. So I use the same logic I applied to circuits. When you are connected to a power socket, you become part of the circuit with everything else connected. Now if that circuit includes any storages, you will automatically use those slots when picking up items. This breaks realism a bit, but it's more fun and more convenient, so I'm keeping it. Moving these rovers around is a lot of fun, but you know what would be even more fun? Riding them. Originally, I wanted a realistic driving system in this game. In fact, the original game design document specifically mentions realistic driving. But this is a great example of why design documents shouldn't be followed blindly. You see, when I wrote that document months ago, I had no idea what the game would actually look like. I imagined it looking very realistic, but now, when I look at it, I see the game as more of a mixed semi-realistic and semi-quirky. So I don't think a fully realistic driving system fits anymore. Instead, I decided to go for an arcade-style driving experience. You can boost, drift, jump around and come out completely unscratched. Way more fun. I already have a couple of vehicle models and I needed to modify them to fit Blossom. So all I need is the right vehicle controller, something I can easily use and modify. After about an hour of searching and testing demos, I found an asset that has everything I need. A couple more hours of tweaking and now we can drive. But hold on, the asset was optimized for Earth gravity. Since my game takes place on Mars, things acted a bit weird. I guess the author never thought someone would come and use this with a different gravity setting. I had to basically rewrite most of the code, but after hours of coding, this is the final result. It even came with sound and effects. Using the same effects system from the vehicle, I applied everything to the rovers too. I also added 2 headlights so they are usable at night. Now, remember I said there was an issue with rovers and mountains? Well, they look really weird when climbing mountains. It's not a game-breaking bug or anything, but it just looks off. The problem comes from my simple follow system. It completely ignores physics, hence being simple, so the wheels don't adapt to uneven terrain. My first fix was to force the wheels to always snap to the ground. It worked, but now it looks even worse. So I added these little scalable pipes that connect the wheels to the body. Now the wheels can move freely while still looking attached. Whoops, now they should work properly. Now, I have autonomous rovers that follow you around and a drivable vehicle. That was a lot of work, but I really like how they turned out. After finishing all that, I want to finally implement crafting to the game. But wait a minute. Do you see what I'm seeing? And that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed the progress so far. Since so many of you asked, I finally made a Discord server where we can chat about the game or just hang out and talk game dev. If that sounds fun, hop in and say hi to our growing little community. Also, if you want to take part in the future playtest or support the development, don't forget to wishlist the game on Steam. The links are in the description. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.